I yap, you yap, we yap together. I yap, you yap, we yap together. I yap, you. This is why I need Blackboard to be in the background giving a. I yap, you yap together. But hi guys, I'm back. Your favorite podcaster ever, Megan Albright. Welcome to episode 3. We've made it this far. Thank you so much to everyone who's listening to the podcast so far, who has sent me messages congratulating me on like the grind because 2025, we were not playing. When we say start on business, 1st of January, I was at work, 7:15 a.m. Don't even play with me. So thank you guys so much for listening. And today's episode, we're going to talk about, drum roll please. I'm talking to myself sometimes, guys, so it's okay. Don't worry, yeah? But so today we're going to talk about what I call the boarding school effect. For those who didn't go to boarding school, a boarding school is basically schooling where you live at school. So you have like your own bed. You probably bring what we call a trunk. If you know what a trunk is, it's like you can put padlocks on it, where you store like dry foods, milk, sugar, all of those kind of things that you can eat. Gari, for those who know, you put gari that you soak gari and hi, I've soaked gari and sugar for years. So you have a trunk, you live at school, you basically wake up, you eat breakfast, lunch, dinner at school, and then you only go home for holidays, which is usually Christmas and summer holiday, if I remember correctly. It's been years since I left boarding school now. But I decided that we should talk about this because I recently reunited with my best friend from those 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 times, basically. So I was on Instagram stalking our friend we went to school with, and I was like, let me just go to her follower list and see if I can find anyone that I know also from school. Because before, now I'm doing way better, but before I was so closed off, like only those who knew me type of situation. I didn't want to be in any group chat. I didn't want to be like, because I feel like a lot of friendships were like fake. You just fake it till you make it, which now I get. Sometimes you have to just go with the flow of things to survive in the society. But I was always the person where I was just like, I didn't feel the need to have to talk to people or have to like fake a friendship, especially if you did me wrong. Like back then I could hold a grudge. Now I'm a new person, I'm born again. But back then, if you do me something I will never forget. Every time you come to me, I remember the time where I asked you for sugar and you told me you didn't have, but I saw it in your trunk. Okay. So I found my best friend from that time. And like literally, guys, I was on my way home from university and my eyes were tearing up because I was like, oh my gosh, she replied. Followed her, sent her a message, and I was waiting for her to reply. And she was like, babes, it's like you haven't spoken to someone for 7, 8 years, and once you guys speak, it's like it was yesterday. Like my eyes were teary. I was on my way home. I was on the metro, or the tram, and I was like, "You can't be crying in front of all these people. You're a big girl." Like I was. Listen, guys. I took the tissue. I wiped my eyes, then I wiped my nose so that people think I'm just sick. You know what I'm saying? Then I'll look at the wall. I'll be like, then I'll listen to music. Then I'll be like, yeah, just make it seem like it's the music you're listening to. But I was crying because I was so whelmed with the feelings of like what we went through in boarding school. So I get home and I was just like, this was before, and I'm like, how are you doing? How's life? She's like, yeah, she's doing good. She's working and she's trying to like, do her thing. And she's like, yeah, I see you too. And she was like, baby girl, you're pretty. I said, mama, you're pretty too. I said, listen, we're always pretty girls. The problem was we live in boarding school and we're broke. We didn't have the money to show our real beauty. You know what I'm saying? So she was like, yeah, that's true. So now I'm going to talk about the boarding school effect because for me, I experienced a lot of things after boarding school, which are like side effects of what I went through in school. Not every boarding school is the same because when I speak to my parents, and it seems like it depends on the regime and of the school you went to. Because boarding school technically is supposed to be, it's like a prestigious thing in my home country in Cameroon. Like your parents can send you to boarding school. It means they have money to send you to boarding school because you have to pay. The government doesn't really pay for stuff like here in Europe. So you have to pay for the school fees. You have to pay to sew the uniforms. You have to pay for the books and all of those things. But me at that time, I didn't see it as something that was a good thing. For me, it was just like you're sending me away type of situation. So I remember boarding school as survival of the fittest. Um, Only the strong will survive. Number one. Number two, we're all thieves and we're all liars. So the sooner you get on track, the better it is. Because when I first went to boarding school, I was 10. When I was in the second year, because it's like from one, two, three, four, five, and then like I think it has the English system. So when I was in the second year, I felt like I was too nice. I was like, oh, if you're mean to my friend, I'm going to be mean to you because you be mean to my friend, you're basically mean to me. Or like if you're a bad person or if you do bad, like I was Madam Goody two shoes. And I didn't get far with that because listen, boarding school is its own society. Yeah, what happens there? The outside world, I don't think they even know how can comprehend it in your brains. So that's another thing that happened in boarding school. So I made a list of the experiences, the lessons learned, and why I feel like it's important for parents to have more information about the boarding school and maybe like set boundaries also for their kids or for the teachers, because some teachers they will beat students but they won't beat all students because their parents have probably called the school and said, if I hear that you put a hand on my child, it's finished. So they won't do that. But other kids that our parents don't call to threaten them, they'll treat us like we're second class citizens for some reason. I don't understand. So reunited with my bestie, we're talking about school, and this is cracking me up, guys. Listen, in boarding school, there was this thing, I don't remember what they call it, but like everyone had to shave their heads. First of all, you couldn't have any kind of earring. You had to have a gold dotted earring. It had to be a dot because they were like, they don't want you to waste time on beauty, waking up in the morning to do your hair. So everyone was shaving their hair, both boys and girls. If you let your hair grow to a certain extent, they will cut it off with the scissors at the assembly. So this is a Presbyterian school, so we had assembly every morning, like prayers at the assembly. And the school would hire barbers to come to school to shave our heads in classrooms. But again, it's like sometimes you don't have money to shave your hair because you need to prioritize, should I save this money for rainy days to eat? Or should I shave my hair? So this one time, oh, I can't even believe I'm telling this story. This one time, we didn't want them to use the scissors on our heads because we're thinking this scissors has been through everybody's head. People have lice. I don't know. People have dandruff. I don't. This scissors has been here in this school for years. I don't want it to pass through my head. And the teachers will always say to us like, "Oh, if you don't shave your head, I'm going to make the road to your village on your hair with the scissors." And they were not joking. They were wicked. They'll make lines. So even when you shave your hair, you can still see the lines. Embarrassing, right? So my best friend and I were like, okay, let's shave our heads ourselves, right? In the boarding school. Mind you, it's boarding school. We don't have any electricity. They turn on and off the lights specific times. You didn't have we used like irons, but you had to put charcoal in the iron for it to use it. So we had to steal the charcoal from the kitchen, stuff like that. So shaving our heads, we have no way to shave our heads unless using a shaving big, I don't know what to call it, bad bearings, hovel. What's that in English? I don't know. What's that in English? A shaving stick. Yeah, you think you used to shave your armpits, basically, guys. That's what we were like. Let's use it to shave our heads. Hey, we were young, dumb, and ambitious. So we're on the bed. I remember it's yesterday. Oh, the embarrassment. We're like boarding school. Each person has bunk beds, so someone is sleeping on top, you're sleeping under. So I remember us being on the under, using the towel that you used to wipe. I think we had like two towels. So when you wash one, you can use the other one. When you wash one, you can use the other one, right? So we had our towels around our neck, and she's shaving. So the plan was she's going to shave my hair, then I'm going to shave her head. I don't know if we started shaving her head first or my head first, but guys, the turn of the light, the turn of the lights before we could be finished. So at this point, we don't know what our hair's looking like until the next day, right? And I think we had to be at the service at 7 o'clock or before. I don't really remember the times, but it was early, and the school is by a mountain, so it's early and it's cold, and it's boarding school, and it's people have no mercy. West Africans, they can insult you. They'll insult you and they'll hold your hand like the other. Listen, okay, guys, back to the story. So We shave our heads. We're like, okay, fine. At least they won't put the scissors in our heads. That's our thought, right? Wake up in the morning, we go shower. Like, listen, guys, there's what we call the house mother. Usually, the house mother or the senior prefects, they will come to the dormitory, they will bang the doors. Yeah, everybody get out. Something like that. And then everyone is running outside, finding your bucket, finding your towel. You need to go shower. It's like a big open space, but we all shower there. Ugh, girl. I've had all the illness. A girl has been sick. So they were like, everybody outside, outside. We're running outside, grab the towel, we'll go outside, we shower. We use the same towel that we that we had from shaving our heads, guys. That was never the worst part. On our way back to the dormitory, they made us stand outside. This I can never forget this senior. I don't know her name, but I know her face. So every time I see her, I will not forgive you. I will say I won't. The Bible said, "Forgive and forget." I'm still thinking about it because the way she embarrassed us, she was like, "The two of you come here. What happened to your head? It looks like rats ate your head." I said, "What?" What we didn't know is like, guys, a shaving big when you shave your armpit is different. When you shave your hair, it's pacha pacha. There's hair here, there's no hair. We've suffered. We didn't know because we couldn't see, and it's not like we had like mirrors left and right or anything like that. She was like, "What happened to your hair?" Like I still didn't deep how bad it was, but she was like, "You guys should kneel down. What did you do to your hair?" For us, it was like we're trying to save ourselves from getting the scissors, but apparently it looks like we should have just gotten the scissors at this point. She made us to kneel down, and then she would make sure that everyone who was passing by, she'd be like, "What happened to the hair? Oh, look at the hair. What happened to the hair?" And then they would laugh at the humiliation. I think I was like 12 or 13. Hi! I've never hated like human beings more than I did in boarding school. I used to hate, listen, I used to hate people. Hate is a strong word, and that's exactly how I felt, yeah, about some prefects and the teachers. So then we're like, okay, fine. Maybe she's making fun of us because she's a prefect. Let's go to the assembly. Anyone watching this from school that remembers me as that girl that had her hair shaved? That's not who I am. I'm actually better than that, you know? But desperate times call for desperate measures. We go to the assembly while standing there, and it's like now the day is break. The day has broken. The day has braca, whatever you want to call it. People can see our head. This is the girls' line. Girls standing one line, boys standing one section. So the boys are there, the girls are here. So we're standing, we're trying to hide. People are looking in on the line, looking at our hair. I'm like, ah. So now it's like, how are we going to hide the hair? Like like you can't hide, you can't have a scarf, you can't do anything, so you just have to live in the shame. After prayers, we ran to class. Luckily, we always sat on the last bench. We're backbenchers, the ones that always yap, yeah, from time to time, where we were the ones. We're sitting on the back of the class, so at least we're sitting like this facing the class. But guys, it was so bad. Like I remember her telling me like, "Mine is bad, but yours is worse." I said, "No." I said, "Yours is worse." So that memory came to mind because I was just like, so many things I experienced with this person. Even when things were hard, like we had no money to eat and we were starving, but it was still just like, okay, fine. At least we're starving together. You soak gari. For those who know what gari is, you put gari in cold water. If you have granola, you put with no sugar. If you have salt, just sprinkle some salt just for some taste. Have you ever drink gari with your friend? You're passing the spoon back and forth. Do you know what that means? Stash. So all these experiences, like, I always hated my experience in boarding school. And I think because of how I viewed it, I kind of like resented my parents a bit because I was like, did you guys know that this is how they treat people in school and you still sent me there? Or there was not even an or. It was just like, you guys knew. I just assumed that they knew and they sent me there. I didn't see the part where it was like, it was actually a privilege for kids to be sent to boarding school, right? So I'm talking to her and she's like, boarding school was one of the best times of her life. Even when it was hard, she was like, it was still nice. I was like, girl, I'm the total. Oh, I hated some of the experiences were nice, but I just hated how the teachers would treat us. Like small things, for example, they would come into the classroom, and then they would like, if someone is talking or if there's noise in the class, because they're very strict on discipline, they'll come into the classroom. Who is making noise? then there's always a class prefect who is elected to write the names of the noisemakers, which we always hate because shut up. Why are you writing my name? Why an enemy of progress? Is my talking killing you? So they will come to the class. Is there any list of names? There's no list. The teacher was like, bad. This one teacher, I don't remember his name, but wherever he is, God will punish you. God will actually punish you. He came into the class and he was like, fine, everybody show your hands. I'm going to flog everybody. And he did. And that's why I knew I could hate. Listen, my hatred, I used to hate like older men. Hi. You will go one by one to the bench. Show your hand. Show me your hand. Listen, I've always been a tiny person. I was a skinny child. You know what I'm saying? So if you hit me, you can break my bones, actually. Like, that's number one. Number two is like you're taller than me. So just me looking up to see that the kid, just kill me instead. Just kill me. He will come and say, show your hands. I was showing my hands and I was doing this. And I had a scar on my leg for years, guys. Actually, I need to check if it's still there, but I had like a line. He used this pipe, the pipe you use to connect the gas tank, the gas thing to the stove. That white pipe is what he used. How, like, I can understand discipline. I can understand, like, trying to teach people. But it's like, in which world does that make sense? In which world is that humane? That you come into a class of, like, 12, 13-year-old children and you're flogging them like they're your ex-wife that left you and abandoned you. How does that make sense? So those experiences, I felt like, is what I remember the most from boarding school. And so it's like, I've never really been a fan of like going back or speaking to the teachers. I yap, you yap, we yap together. I yap, you yap, we yap together. Also, parents sending their kids to boarding school, be aware that all these teachers, they try to sleep with the girls. There were so many stories of girls getting pregnant by teachers. So many stories of teachers. Even me, after I left boarding school, when I was like 15, 14, one of the teachers, I remember the geography teacher, at least he was nice. But still, I hate all my teachers. Like, God will punish all of you. Still, he sent me a message on WhatsApp. It's like, hey, how you doing? No, on Messenger. And in my mind, I'm like, we are not friends. Like, in which world did you actually think that we're friends? After you were flogging me in school, you want to talk to me. Are you mad? He sent me a message. I don't reply. Guess what, guys? He sent me an email. I don't know if he found my email on my social media or what, but he sent me an email. He's like, hi, I tried to send you a message on Messenger. You didn't reply me. So what? What are you trying to get? So this is how a lot of people like fall prey to the teachers, and I'm sure a lot of the teachers like use the girls either to give them good grades or to make their lives easier, not to flog them. Because you can tell, guys, when the teacher comes into the room or he comes into the dormitory and he's flogging everyone except that one girl. We know he's getting the pum pum. We know he's getting something. Because why is he beating me? He's not beating you. You must be giving up something. You must be giving something up. So experiences like that just make me think like my view on boarding school was so bad. And then you see boarding school like American movies and it's like, oh my God, we're going to like a fraternity, we're going to a club to go hang out, to do friends. Guys, the only time you could connect with your family was when you went to one of the teachers or I don't know what they call him, the principal or something. You pay them, I think you have to pay for a call or so. If I don't remember correctly, I think you have to pay for a call. Or you ask, can I call my parents? Then they'll ask you, why do you want to call? It's like a prison. Why do you want to call your parents? Because I'm 13 and I miss my parents. I don't want to be here. Like, no, I'm just going to ask them for money or whatever. You call, most times your parents are busy or you don't know. Hi, how are you? You know the usual, the standard, I'm fine. I'm not fine. Come on, get me out of here. But you can't say that because the teacher is right there, right? And you can't tell the truth. So all those experiences, I was just like, I'm happy that it built or it made me be more resilient. Now, it takes a lot for me to like break down. It takes a lot for me to be like, wow, this thing is difficult for me to handle. And that's thanks to boarding school because literally, guys, stealing is bad. But in boarding school, there's a thin line between stealing and taking over someone else's property because yours was taken over. When you go to boarding school, everyone has a bucket because you shower like this, yeah? Cold water every morning. Hi. I used to listen. Hi. I remember this like it's yesterday, guys. I used to go to shower in the morning, 5 o'clock when we're there. Cold water under the mountain. And I tell myself, just do it for your parents. Just do it for your parents. Just do it for your parents. We were so broke. You have one bar of soap. You soak the soap in water. You do one line on your head. Maybe even two self. And that soap on your hair is all you use to wash your body. Hi. So when you see me in Dubai, when you see me in Bali, you see me in Spain enjoying shopping life, don't ask me why I'm spending my money recklessly. Yeah? Don't ask me questions. So experiences like this, I know not everyone had the same experience. Some people actually had a good experience. I remember there were like students from other countries, Equatorial Guinea, and one from Madagascar. One student was from Madagascar, and she was what I would say white, because if you're not black in skin color, you're white objectively, because they treat you like a white child. They didn't shave her hair. They didn't beat her. They didn't shout at her too much. And I was like, is it because I'm black you think that me, I'm strong or what? Me too, I can break. I can cry too. If you're going to treat everyone a certain way, treat everyone a certain way. Don't discriminate. But then again, why can I blame them? I'll just blame the colonists that came and just fucked up our brains for everything. But like small things like this that you pick up in school that make you just hate the whole experience. I couldn't focus on learning because I was so focused on what everything else that was happening around me. And I was so grateful that I had that my friend. I had other friends too, don't get us wrong. But like that one, that one person where it's like, if we're starving together. If we're drinking water for dinner, we're drinking water together. And they would beat us for like small things. We would like, I remember like we had to fake being sick to stay in the dormitory sometimes because it was too much, Papa. It was too much studying. 5 a.m. in class, 8 o'clock to 2 o'clock in class, 4 o'clock to 6 o'clock or 7 in class, 9 to in class. Like, okay, it's enough. We get it. We need to focus in school. We get it. But come on, it was a bit too much. So I think like when you're in situations where you feel like you need to survive, or you feel like it's like a jungle or a hard situation, it helps to have someone that can first of all relate to your situation, but not just that, can also like lift up your spirit, because it's like, okay, when I'm sad, she's there. When she's sad, I'm there. So she was like basically my sister. Our parents would come to visit, so I met her parents, and I think she met my parents, and it was just like, that's my ride or die. That's the kind of friendship you want to have. Friendship with people who, 10 years from now, even if you guys don't speak, the next time you see them, that respect is still there, that love is still there. You know that what we've experienced together, we can't even explain it in words, and that's how I felt. And I posted on my story that I reunited with my friend, and I was crying. Like I said, I was crying. I was like, it's too much for me. The pressure. That it was too much. And she saw the video and she was like, oh, you're actually crying. Let me tell you something. Don't ever see two friends and judge one and be like, oh, why can't you be like your friend, as all these parents do? You should be like your friend who is quiet. She's the quiet one in public. Yeah? Behind closed doors, the way the mouth is moving left and right. The only difference is my mouth moves whenever. Because I decided that I'm going to live my life. They want to live my life. So she was like, yeah, I'm quiet, but my mouth stops in the back door. When we're in public, I won't talk. And she's like, I'm so proud of you for what you've done. And I think it's so nice to see how far everyone has come. I still speak to some of my friends. For example, my website was made by a classmate of mine from school who studied IT. And I was like, I think we forget that the people you go to school with and the people you're around now are, when they say kids are the future of tomorrow, it's not a joke. All the people who you don't like today might be the ones in positions you need tomorrow. Oh, sorry, I keep touching it. But all the people you don't like today might be the ones in positions you need tomorrow. You might want to get a job at Microsoft, and that child or that classmate that you used to hate or you used to talk bad about or you used to be mean to is a president of Microsoft. If not for the Holy Ghost Spirit that can touch them to make them give you that job, do you really think it's fair for them to give you the job? Because there were some people that I used to, I don't know, use the word hate, because God, I'm a new person. I used to dislike them. Just the fact that I just saw them laughing, it just irate my spirit, because I'll be like, you don't deserve to laugh for all the things you're doing to people. So be careful. My uncle told me, like, my uncle and my aunts actually, they were just like, try not to hold a grudge. If someone does something to you, forgive them, because you never know where you're going to need people. Number one, and number two, it's a heavy burden to carry. Like, not liking people or hating someone actually, or not forgiving someone. I think it's heavier on the person who doesn't forgive than it is on the person who needs to be forgiven, because most times they don't deserve it, yes, but you should be forgiving them for yourself, for your own peace of mind. Because some people, they will never change. Some people will never apologize for their actions. Some people are just not good people. And it's hard to believe, but that's the sad reality. So I think forgiving yourself for the things you did, like, I forgive myself for, if I ever stole your food, or I stole your bucket, or I stole something that belongs to you, or I am sorry. Please forgive me. Because somebody stole my stuff too, you understand? So I was just doing what was done unto me to the next person. And the problem with that mindset is, in boarding school, we genuinely felt like, I'm not that, like, it's wrong, but you don't feel bad about it, Because, like, they stole from me, I'll steal from the next, and the next will steal from the next. At the end of the day, it will only go around. So, like, small things like that, that you realize that that's not how you should live in the outside world. But it takes time for some people. For example, me. And I'm going to tell you guys a bit about the struggles I've had, the after effects from boarding school. iYAP, iYAP, iYAP together. When I'm singing, you should be dancing, guys. Be shaking your waist. I yap, you yap, we yap together. I'm a little tired, guys. It's almost 2 a.m., but I'm grinding for you guys. So please, 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 before I continue, don't forget to rate the podcast. Give it a 5 star, because I look like a 5 star dinner right now, and you know that. So stop playing yourself and just give it a 5 star. If you don't have time to watch the episodes, guys, you can always save them and watch them later, or listen to them later. I'm making sure that it's accessible to everyone, those who want to listen, those who want to watch, on Spotify, and it's going to be on Apple and other listening platforms. So yeah, do that. Pause and rate. Okay, guys? I yap, you yap, we yap together. I yap, you yap, we yap together. So, after effects from boarding school. For me, the biggest thing was my eating habits. I eat so fast. I've become better now. Like, now I consciously, like, use a teaspoon to eat most of the time. Just so I'm taking smaller portions. And so, like, I'm telling myself, you can chew slowly. Because in boarding school, what happened was, it's like, there was a time where, or I don't know if I should call it the regime or whatever, there was a time where the prefects, the older students, they would, like, count to 20 for us to eat. Yes, you can see it as in they were teaching us how to be effective, because the time to eat and to go, I get it. I still don't think counting to 20 is right. Because who can finish eating their food? 1, 2, 3. Am I a dog? Even dogs don't eat that fast. You know what I'm saying? Even dogs take their times to eat. Their time to eat. So they used to count for us to eat so fast that you just have to, like, gobble, 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 gobble the food down. Number one. Number two, I remember, like, during breakfast, they would bring a pot, and let's say we're having bread. They'll put the bread in it, and then, depending on how grown we were, the younger we were, the more savage we were, I would say. So they will put the pot in the middle of the table, and they will have to pray. Everybody heads down. Everyone puts their head down, but you can see people's hands already, like, on the pot. By the time they say amen, why are we dumpster diving into a pot? So basically, if, and like, in the beginning, you're like, okay, I don't want to fight, but then it's like, then you're starving, which is why it's important for you to have money to buy something to eat after. But when you don't have money, you need to dive. So, like, I eat so fast sometimes, it's like, no wonder I have indigestion. Why am I rushing to? And I keep telling myself, like, it's okay, Megan. No one is counting for you. But it's like, it's something that happened so fast. And I think at that time, I felt, and I still would say, like, I was too young for most of those experiences. Like, my brain wasn't able to process a lot of things that were happening. And it took me a while to process it. you can beg to differ. You can say like it didn't happen for you. People are different. Unfortunately, like I had to suffer more consequences after. So like eating habits, number one. Sleeping habits. Like I have a 180 by 200 bed, but I still sleep like this sometimes. I have to tell myself, Megan, it's okay to spread your legs. It's okay to open your arms. Like you actually bought the bed. Like it's actually your bed. Because in boarding school, it's like you sleep and sometimes they will wake you up if you didn't hear the bell, because it's the bell that they ring for you to wake up. If you didn't hear the bell, the house mother or the prefect or whoever might come up and they wake you up by hitting. So your brain is always on, like you gotta be on go, alert. And survivor mode helps when you need to survive from something. When you've already survived the circumstance and you're still in survival mode, it's very hard because it's hard for you to adjust to the new circumstance. Like I don't need to wake up at 5 a.m. No one is gonna beat me. No one is gonna like force me to wake up or anything. I put my alarm, I'm gonna wake up. It's my bed, I'm safe. No one is going to come into my room and do steal my stuff or whatever. But just those experiences I had in my body, I could say. And even after boarding school, like I found myself like still, like you take something that's not yours and you just feel like, yeah, you feel like you have a right to it because for one reason or another. And it took me time to like let go of these habits. It's still like to this date, like I said, I have to tell myself, Megan, it's okay to chew slowly. It's okay to like take your time. I even try to count how many times I'm chewing something. So those were my experiences. And I told my best friend from boarding school, and she was like, oh my God, she can't believe that is how I was living, or that's how I had it. And I was like, thanks. She's like, for real? I was like, I'm gonna go to therapy because I need it. To be honest, I need to talk to someone. I need someone to tell me like it's okay to relax. It's okay to just breathe. Like sometimes you would see me, I have this kind of like serious look on my face, like life has beaten me down almost. And my auntie last year, she was just like, I don't like the look on your face when you're just sitting. It's like, what happened? Like, it seems like something has happened, like that. It's so devastating, or you've done. She's like, you're so young. You shouldn't have that look on your face yet. Like, life has not even hit you for you to have that look on your face. So, just so many experiences that I try to let go, but letting go is hard. Letting go is hard. It's not easy. It's not easy. So those are like, I would say, the most bad parts about boarding school. The good parts, guys, let me tell you something. If you go to boarding school and you're watching this video, right? What I would tell you is become friends with the class prefect, with the head boy or the head girl. Because when you're friends with them and they're writing names of noisemakers, your name is not on the list. You know why? Because they like you. Yeah? And so many people benefited from me liking the head boy and him liking me. Yeah? Because he wouldn't write my name. But maybe he'll write your name because you were talking to me, but I wasn't talking to you. Or he would tell me, like, shh, don't talk. Become friends with those who have more power. Yeah? In boarding school, that is what you should do. Unfortunately, you need to do what you need to do to survive. That's number one. Another thing is, it's quite sad, but it is true. A lot of us like bond because of trauma. If you have the same family circumstances, or we're both broke, we don't have money, so we can sit together and talk about being poor and being hungry, and we bond over that. But there's more to life than the bad times, and I think not going through those times with someone or with people you trust and people you love, it kind of makes it easier afterwards when you try to digest everything. Because now I'm just like, okay, fine, it was bad, but I wasn't alone. And if I think it was bad, it was probably bad for her too. So it's like, it doesn't console me, but it kind of makes me feel a little better knowing that, okay, fine, someone out there understands me and understands how I felt because they were there. Another good thing is, I think we learn how to make the best situation out of everything. For example, like we used to do music in school, guys. We all had a music book. Me and my friends. Listen, my best friend, she used to love Hindi songs. She would sing. I don't know how this girl is not in India by this time, but she used to love Hindi songs. I was very much into like R&B. I knew. Listen, Nicki Minaj, I love you. I used to go to a cyber cafe, pay my money or money that I probably took from my dad or something like that. go to the Nicki Minaj lyrics, write it down on my songbook. So when I go to boarding school, I can master the song, master the lyrics. Then we got to the point where we start making our own songs. So we like you get a bottle and you start playing a beat on the bench, and they were singing about hunger, was singing about starving, was singing about being stressed. So you kind of like make the best out of every situation, and I think that is something that I have been able to do to this date. It's like I'm very, very, very solution oriented. If this thing doesn't work, I'm like, okay, how can I make it work with something else? How can we get the same effect? How where can I find someone that can do? Where can I find something to do? And I'm very, very much maybe a little bit too independent. Again, as someone who doesn't want to die alone, I'm very much of a loner. I feel like I can do anything. I feel like I'm superwoman. I feel like there's nothing anyone can do that I cannot do. So I think boarding school really helped to push me like way beyond my limits. Like when I think I'm crashing, I'm like, okay, maybe this is just a step to the next level or a step to the next step. So I think that's something that I can't lie is something I learned from boarding school. Another thing is, I miss boarding school. One of the good parts, guys, we didn't have phones, like I said, so we couldn't communicate with other people. But what we would do is during evening prep is like when we go to study in the evenings. I don't remember exactly what time, but probably from I would say 7 to like 9:30. Yeah, 7 p.m. to like 9:30, I think, is evening prep. And during that time, it's like we try to like catch up with our friends, boys camp, girls camp. So we only see each other when we have things to do together, like either eating on the same table or we're in class together or choir or something. So in class, we would like take like a page from a book, the double-sided one. You fold it, then you write WhatsApp on the top. So we'll use the paper as WhatsApp. So you write WhatsApp, or you write your name. Let's say I write Megan, then I put dot dot. Then I go, how are you today? Then you pass it to the bench with the person you want to talk to. And those small things like that, I feel like helped also get through it. Like, again, it's boarding school. It's a boarding school with boys and girls. You like people. What do we know about liking someone at the age of 13? But you like people. So just, I think, like, having interest helps with survival. It gives a little bit of hope. It's like, okay, it's bad, but at least I'm going to see this boy that I like in class. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's bad, but at least like we're together in this. It's bad, but at least like we are going to eat something I like on Tuesday. So I'm gonna wait till Tuesday. Then I'm gonna go and eat properly in the cafeteria. So small stuff like that, you try to see the best out of every situation or the good out of it. And I think personally I do it most of the time. I remember someone told me before, like, I love your view of life because small things make me happy. Like I could literally see a train and the train is purple, which I saw before. I saw a purple train and I was like, oh my God, it's a purple train. Like I've never seen a purple train, and it's like just that like makes me like, oh wow, I've seen a purple train. I'll take a video of it. It looks nice. Or it's like something happens and I'm just like, okay, fine. It's not the end of the world. Yes, sometimes I can't downplay situations or hurtful things. Let's say I lose a job. Losing a job is bad. Let me tell you something. For everyone, it's like you feel like, oh, why did I lose the job? Was I not good enough? You start questioning yourself and your abilities. I've never lost a job, by the way, but I'm just saying as an example. So losing a job is bad, but if I ever lost a job, I think I would be like, okay, fine, I just lost a job. It's fine. There are other jobs out there. So I think to a certain extent, I don't let myself feel because you almost like have to have a stone heart to go through certain things in life. And sometimes I feel like yes, maybe I could have taken more time to process stuff, but then I also question myself. By the way, I'm a Libra for those who care about astrology. So my brain is going, how can I see it from angle A, angle B, angle C, angle D to make the best choice possible? So on the other hand, I'm just like, is it such a bad thing that I'm able to move on from things quickly, or not even move on, but like not make it such a big deal to the point where it stops my growth? And this is a quote. if you steal this quote, I'll beat you up. Yeah? I'm going to put it on a t-shirt someday, which is, I need you to want to win more than your circumstances. Nothing in life should be able to stop you from getting what you want or getting to where you want to be to. Where you want to be, sorry. If you don't have a job, okay, fine. Where can you find a job? Who can you talk to? Have you actually done everything in your power to get a job? Have you not just sending a CV or sending a circ not here and there? Sorry, I'm speaking Norwegian now. But I mean, as in, like, you can use your two legs to go to the store and ask the store owner, excuse me, can I speak to your manager? That is being solution oriented. I feel like there's always a solution, which sometimes makes me not feel and makes me like just, yeah, this happened, it's okay. But then the feelings come after. And when the feelings sink in is when I start processing things. But all in all, I'm so grateful to my parents. I know that I used to blame them a lot for a lot of experiences in my life. But the older I get, the more I understand. And so I apologize to them. I have done that already to them in real life, guys. For just being a child. You know, you're a child, some things you never understand until you get older. And that's okay, I think. But I'm so grateful that I had that experience at an early age, because then now I know how to handle myself. I know how to be independent. I know how to survive, basically. Like, I can drink Gary every day and it's okay. We'll be fine. So if you are out there watching this or listening to this podcast and you attend a boarding school, you've been to a boarding school, please let me know what your experience was like, what you think about the boarding school. Do you think it's a system that should continue? Do you think it's a good thing, but that because it's so sheltered and we don't know what's happening behind the closed doors, kids are being taken advantage of? Do you think the opposite? Just your thoughts in general. And if you didn't go to a boarding school and you went to a day school, but you knew people from boarding school, what are the stories that you heard from those people? I would like to know, because hearing about other people's tragedy sometimes makes me feel better. I'll say it with my full chest. I'm sorry. I need to know that you suffered too. That I was not alone. Then I'm going to sleep well. But thank you so much for listening to this episode. I feel like this is more of like a podcast. I was telling you guys stories. I hope you liked it. If you'd like me to tell you guys more stories from boarding school or just my experience in Cameroon, right now I live in Norway. Let me know. You can always message me on Instagram or comment on YouTube or Spotify or wherever you watch this. And I'm going to try to reply to everyone as soon as possible. I've been your host, Megan Albright, and this is the iYAP podcast. See you next time. Okay, I'm out. It's like, guys, it's almost 2 a.m. Hey, I can yapo. I can actually yap. When I really think about it, the name of this podcast it really fits me. My grandma used to tell me as a child, she'd be like, talk, mommy, your mouth. This your mouth. So, guys, I guess now I'm making money from talking. The mouth they used to hold and twist is the mouth that's going to pay the bills. So, shout out to me.